Landkreuzer P.1000 Ratte, Part I, when a tank became a battleship, Germany, 1942. The war was turning. The Blitzkrieg had stalled. The Eastern Front was bleeding men and machines at a terrifying pace. Allied bombers were already testing the skies over the Reich, and inside Hitler's headquarters, a dangerous idea began to grow if tanks could not dominate the battlefield anymore. Then what if the battlefield itself was crushed beneath one machine? One, bigger than Mao's, bigger than reason. The Mao's weighed 188 tons. The Ratte? 1,000 tons. Not a tank, not a land battleship. 6 times heavier than the Mao's. Longer than a football field. Tall enough to look down on buildings. The official designation sounded harmless. Landkreuzer P 1000. Land cruiser. But nothing about it was harmless. 2. A naval gun on tracks. The Ratte was not armed like a tank. It was armed like a warship. Its main weapon. 2 280 mm naval guns, taken directly from German battleships. The same caliber used to bombard cities and coastal fortifications. These guns could destroy any tank at kilometers of distance, entire buildings with a single shell, fortified positions without ever seeing the enemy secondary weapons included. 128 mm. Anti-tank cannons, dozens of anti-aircraft guns. Machine guns positioned like a fortress. The Ratte was designed to fight everything at once. Tanks, infantry, aircraft, cities. 3. Hitler loved it. That was the most dangerous part. Hitler saw the Ratte not as a weapon, but as a symbol of absolute power, technological dominance, psychological terror, a moving monument to German might. According to accounts, Hitler approved the concept personally. He imagined the Ratte rolling through enemy capitals, unstoppable, untouchable, a mechanical god of war. Reality was not invited to the meeting. 4. The crew of a small army. A normal tank needs 5 men. The Ratte needed over 40 crew members. Gunners, loaders, engineers, mechanics, command staff inside. It was closer to a ship than a tank. Compartments, internal corridors, ammunition rooms, engine sections if damaged. Internal firefighting teams would be required. This was not armored warfare. This was naval doctrine forced onto Land. 5. The engines that could never be enough to move 1,000 tons. The Ratte required 2 submarine diesel engines or 8 massive Daimler-Benz engines. Fuel consumption was astronomical. A single mission would require fuel deliveries larger than those of an entire armored division, and if it ran out of fuel, it wouldn't stop. It would become part of the landscape. 6. Roads, bridges, and the earth itself. No road could support it. No bridge could carry it. No rail system could transport it. The Ratte would destroy roads simply by moving sink into soft ground. Be unable to cross rivers without engineering miracles. It wasn't designed to travel through terrain. It was designed to overwrite terrain. 7. A target the sky could see by 1942. One truth was clear. Air power ruled the battlefield. The Ratte was huge, slow, and possible to hide from the air. It would be visible for kilometers. It would attract bombers, fighter bombers, artillery, armor meant nothing against precision bombs. The Ratte would not be hunted. it would be celebrated as a target point 8, the line that was never crossed even. Nazi engineers, men who built the Maus, began to hesitate. They understood something fundamental. The Ratte did not break the rules of tank design, it broke the rules of war itself, it demanded. Resources Germany no longer had, fuel that no longer existed, time that was already gone. Slowly, quietly, the project was abandoned, no prototype was built, no steel was cut. The Ratte died on paper. Landkreuzer P 1000 Ratte Part 2. Why the Ratte terrified even its creators. It was not the enemy that made German engineers uneasy, it was the machine itself. On blueprints, the Ratte looked unstoppable. On engineering tables, it looked like a catastrophe waiting to happen. The deeper they went, the more one truth became impossible to ignore. This thing could not exist without breaking the world around it. 1. The weight that broke everything at over 1,000 tons. The rate did not merely exceed limits, it erased them. Every calculation led to the same conclusion. Roads would collapse, bridges would shatter. Rail transport was impossible. Recovery was unthinkable. Even reinforced concrete struggled under the projected ground pressure. The Ratte would not roll over. Terrain, it would crush it into submission or sink into it, and never move again. 2. Tracks like city streets to distribute its weight. The Ratte required tracks so wide they resembled roads. Each track system was more complex than an entire tank. Massive steel links, multiple suspension systems, continuous maintenance demands if a track failed. Repairing it would require heavy cranes, specialized cruise hours. If not Dason, a battlefield ruled by minutes, that was a death sentence. 3. Engines. From the deep, the only engines powerful enough were not designed for land. They were submarine diesels. Huge, heavy, fragile. Outside their intended environment, they produced extreme heat, enormous vibration, constant mechanical stress. Cooling alone became an unsolved problem. The engineers faced an impossible choice: overheat the engines, or make the vehicle even larger to cool them. Either option pushed the Ratte further into absurdity. 4. Ammunition. The size of Mina single 280 mm shell weighed more than a human. Handling ammunition required mechanical loaders, internal rail systems, dedicated crew teams. Rate of fire would be slow. Every shot would be devastating, but every shot also revealed the Ratte's position like a beacon. This was not precision warfare, it was siege warfare on open ground. 5. Crew safety. A myth. 40 men inside a single vehicle sounded impressive. In reality, it was terrifying. One penetrating hit, one internal fire, one ammunition explosion. The Ratte would become a steel coffin for everyone inside. Evacuation under fire? Impossible. Fire suppression? Questionable. Medical response? Non-existent. A single failure could kill a platoon in seconds. 6. The enemy could never fight. The Ratte was designed to defeat tanks, but tanks were no longer the main threat. The real enemy was aircraft artillery, precision bombing. The Ratte's size made it impossible to hide. Its speed made it impossible to escape. Armor thickness meant nothing when bombs fell vertically. Engineers knew this, and it haunted every design meeting. 7. A weapon. Without doctrine, perhaps the most frightening realization. No one knew how to use it. It was too slow for breakthroughs, too valuable for frontline risk, too large for urban combat, too vulnerable for open terrain. It could not replace divisions. It could not support infantry. It could not retreat. It had no place in modern warfare. It was a solution searching for a problem that no longer existed. 8. The silent rebellion. German engineers did not openly oppose Hitler. They didn't need to. They delayed. They questioned. They buried the project in technical obstacles, not out of sabotage, out of fear. They understood something. Hitler did not. Some weapons are so powerful they become useless. Landkreuzer P. 1000 Rat Part 3. The battlefield that would kill the rat. If the rat had ever left the drawing board, it would not have died heroically. It would have died inevitably, not because it lacked power, but because the battlefield it was born into had evolved beyond giants. 1. The moment it moved, it was marked. The rat could not hide. From the air, it would be visible for kilometers, an impossible silhouette crawling across the earth, leaving crushed ground and shattered roads in its wake. Dust clouds would trail it like a signal flare, the first reconnaissance. Aircraft would not need binoculars. They would simply point, and once pointed out, the rat would never be alone again. 2. Air power. The silent executioner by 1942, minus 1,944. The war belonged to the sky. Allied aircraft hunted. Supply columns, artillery positions, tanks stuck in the open. The rat was all three at once. Fighter bombers would circle it like vultures, attacking engines, striking tracks, destroying fuel convoys. Even if bombs did not penetrate its armor, they wouldn't need to. A mobility kill was enough. A stopped rat was a dead rat. 3. Bombs don't care about armor thickness, mattered in horizontal combat. Bombs fall vertically. A single heavy bomb exploding near the rat would shake internal systems apart, jam turrets, damage engines, kill crew through concussion. Alone repeated strikes would turn it into a burning, immobile ruin. The rat's armor protected it from tanks. The battlefield protected tanks from nothing. 4. Artillery, death by distance. The rat's massive guns gave it reach, but artillery had reach too. Heavy artillery could range the rat from kilometers away, fire continuously without exposing crews. Collapsed terrain beneath its tracks, the rat would respond slowly, deliberately. Artillery would respond relentlessly, and artillery could be replaced. The rat could not. 5. Logistics. The weakest armor plate every kilometer the rat moved required. Fuel convoys, ammunition transports, engineering units, air defense escorts. Destroy the convoy, and the monster starved. Without fuel, it could not retreat. It could not reposition. It could not even turn into cover. It would sit there, an immobile god, waiting to be dismantled piece by piece. 6. Urban terrain. A trap. Not a fortress. Cities seemed like the rat's natural domain. In reality, they were death traps. Streets too narrow, rubble blocking movement, buildings limiting gun depression. Infantry with explosive could swarm it from below. The rat was designed to fight armies, not ghosts hiding in ruins. 7. Rivers, mud, and weather. Nature itself was an enemy the rat could not defeat. Mud would swallow it. Rivers would stop it. Rain would immobilize it. seasonal conditions that tanks adapted to would end the Ratte's campaign. Permanently, a weapon that cannot fight the terrain, cannot fight the war. 8. The enemy would not fight fair. The greatest illusion behind the Ratte was this, that enemies would meet it head on. They wouldn't. They would avoid it, isolate it, starve it, destroy it from afar. The Ratte would never fight a glorious duel. No. It would be dismantled slowly, methodically, without drama. 9. The inevitable end. The Ratte would not fall in battle. It would be abandoned. Fuel gone, tracks damaged, engines failing, airstrikes closing in. Its crew would destroy it themselves, just like the mouths. 1,000-ton monument reduced to twisted steel by its own hand. 10. The battlefield's verdict. The battlefield had already chosen its winners. Speed over size, numbers over singular power, flexibility over obsession. The Rate was a king with no kingdom, and the battlefield does not spare kings. Landkreuzer P. 1000 Ratte, Part 4. The monster that never lived. The Ratte never rolled across a battlefield. It never fired its guns. It never crushed cities beneath its tracks, and yet it remains one of the most famous war machines in history, because sometimes the most powerful monsters are the ones that exist only in imagination. 1. A giant that died on paper. Unlike the mouths, the Ratte never reached metal. No prototype, no how, no tracks. Only blueprints, calculations, and ambition. When Germany's situation worsened, reality finally pushed back. Steel was needed for aircraft. Fuel was needed for survival. Time was needed for weapons that could actually fight. The Ratte offered none of that. So it was quietly erased. No announcement. No cancellation ceremony. Just silence. 2. Why the Ratte still haunts history. The Rate fascinates because it represents a question every era asks. What if we remove all limits? It was the ultimate expression of brute force thinking. Bigger guns solve bigger problems. Thicker armor equals invincibility. Fear itself becomes a weapon. The Rate was not meant to win battles. It was meant to overwhelm belief. 3. Power without control. The Ratte teaches a brutal lesson. Power that cannot be controlled becomes useless. It could not move where needed, be supplied consistently, be repaired under fire, be replaced if lost. Every strength multiplied its weaknesses. In trying to be everything, it became nothing. 4. A mirror of ideology. The Ratte was not a military necessity. It was ideological. It reflected a mindset obsessed with symbols, scale, and domination, even as reality collapsed. The bigger the problems became, the bigger the fantasy grew. When rational solutions fail, extremism in design often follows. The Ratte was extremism made mechanical. 5. The myth that survived the war because it was never built. The Ratte was never disproven by combat. This gave birth to myths. It would have changed the war. Nothing could have stopped it. If only it had been finished. History answers gently. Anything that exists must obey physics, logistics, and time. The Ratte would have obeyed them too. Violently. 6. Why we still talk about it. The Ratte endures because it forces us to confront uncomfortable truths. There is a limit to strength. There is a cost to obsession. There is a point where ambition turns into self-destruction, standing before the idea of the rat. We are not awed by its power, we are warned by its 7. The final verdict, the rat was never defeated, it was abandoned by reason, and that is why it matters, because wars are not lost only on battlefields. They are lost when imagination replaces strategy. Epilogue. The monster that never needed to die, the rat, never lived, and that was its greatest mercy. Had it existed, it would have become a burning ruin, a propaganda embarrassment, a 1,000-ton grave. Instead, it remains frozen in possibility, a reminder that not every idea deserves steel. Some ideas deserve silence, and the rat was one of them.